This is the Troll Patrol, live with JustinFREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol live. It's a freaking Tuesday. Almost said Wednesday. It's a Tuesday. Why are you guys so quiet? Nobody's in the chat. There's a bunch of you in here, but nobody in the chat. Weird. That's not how it usually is. Usually Warlord's ragging on me about something. Clinically commented like an hour ago and said it puts the news on the screen. I want to know how you complete that phrase. The movie quote is it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. Is it puts the news on the screen or else it gets the Vaseline? Is that what we're doing? Maynard, what the hell? Buddy. Nobody wants to see your ass. And he's stepping, and he's totally showing ass on stream. Stepped over, Smokey is right here. He stepped over Smokey to do what you just saw. CSW's on. Clinically, good evening. Fucking Trump is picking Linda McMahon to be the Secretary of Education. Dr. Oz to oversee Medicare and Medicaid. Thank you, Mr. Elwood. I asked him what that was that he posted. Do you call it turds in a blanket? And he got all offended by it. But you can't tell me that's not exactly what it looked like. It puts the news on the screen. Something flicks the bean. I had a friend who used to say that a lot. And for the longest time, I didn't make sense. I was like, what does that mean? Oh, okay. Oh, Warlord gets offended. That's if you haven't offended Warlord, you're not living. Good evening. Welcome to the Troll Patrol Live. We got some crazy ass news. More Trump picks coming at you. I'm more excited for the crime section. I think I have been. You guys have probably kind of noticed that since the election. I've kind of been more adamant about the crime stories. I mean, I feel like I'm doing my duty and still covering the pertinent info. But I might not be putting as much time into it as I am the crime side of the show. A third party, it was weird the way they described it. A third party has accessed the Matt Gaetz deposition, which means a leak is imminent, I hope. We're going to bring you up to date on the Trump cases in New York, Georgia. And don't forget, he is still being prosecuted for mishandling classified information. But as of today, is once again receiving classified information. We're going to talk about the battle for DNC chair. I know who my pick is. Prometheus, Tadpole, welcome in. The FEMA head was grilled. I believe this happened earlier today by a House committee over the targeting of Trump supporting homes. Well, not targeting. Telling FEMA workers not to stop at homes that displayed Trump flags, which, as we've gone over, they had a pretty goddamn good reason for. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, in just a disgusting bit of transphobia, introducing a bill to target an incoming member of Congress. Hopefully she at least shows us some tits tonight. From now on, whenever I have a Nancy Mace story, I just hope there's tits.
A titty slap! Come on now.
I know. CSW, that's weird. The immigration terminator, that's a weird way to speak about people. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, you're here with us. You're cool, but why would you speak that way about people just because they're immigrants, just because they're from a different country? Why would you think that was humane? I don't get it, you know? I'm all about bashing people with power, poor immigrants fleeing the violence that most of the time the U.S. has caused in South American countries, coming here for a better life when we absolutely need them for our economy. That don't sit right with me. I want to kick authority in the balls.
He's kicking authority in the balls.
No, Mr. Elwood. CSW a little on the right wing side. Holiday. Welcome in, my friend. So glad to see you. I had to go through on Blueski and try to find my peeps. I tried to, go off of other streamers and go through people they're following to see if I can find all the people I like on the Blueski. I think Holiday, you're one of the people that I was like, oh my god, I'm not following Holiday yet. Anybody on Blueski wants to add me? There's a handle or something, isn't there? I'm JustinFREAKIN. I'm JustinFREAKIN on everything. If you want to add me on a social media, I am there. I am on every social media. I'm JustinFREAKIN. I think on Twitter, I'm Mr. JustinFREAKIN because somebody got my name before I could. And they've never used their account. Oh, you're not over there, Holiday? I could have sworn. I know I found Reverse Thread on there. I found Jason Society. I could have sworn I found you on... Maybe I found you on Threads the other day or something. I have not been on there to interact. I've only been on there... Oh, yes, Tadpole is correct. If you want to be actual friends with Justin's personal account, I'm Justin Muffins on Facebook. Other than that, the professional facing... On Facebook, I'm JustinFREAKIN on my, artist page and all that good shit. Oh, I haven't given you your meme of the day yet. Here you go. Trust me, I'm a ductor. Lenny, Shelly, good evening. Oh my god, the cats have somehow opened the closet door. Maynard and Smokey are both now in the... I don't know how they did it. It was closed completely. So they have fucking turned the knob and opened the door. Yes, CSW. That's what every dumb fuck says. Most of the people that have been coming, all those illegal crossings that you hear about on Fox News, those are people seeking asylum, and they are legal, and they do get vetted. You people fall for bullshit. You don't actually know what's going on at the border, and you say dumb things. So then I have to point out to you, the vast majority of people that are crossing the border are legal asylum seekers. Overwhelming. So if you say you're not referring to them, then you should shut the fuck up, because there's nobody else to really refer to. And Trump absolutely is referring to them. Femvox, Torchy, good evening. Lenny, safe travels, my friend. Looking forward to having you back in the United States. I'll feel the aura once you're back over here with us on American soil. where for the time being we got freedom. I want to be proud of this country. I want this country to be the country it says it is, that believes in freedom and personal liberty, and hard work will you can make it with hard work. But that's not the country we live in. Those are just appeals that people make. The actual reality of this country is much harsher. It is a country where we are stratified by wealth, and it was never founded to be for the people. Never. That's why only wealthy landowners could vote originally. I mean, clinically, I want to be proud of it. I want it to be the thing it says it wants to be, so I can be proud of it. And I don't want to see it burn. And there's a lot of things I have respect for. Our legal system, very fucked up, mainly because of outside influence. But ultimately, the setup that we have, it needs some tweaking. It needs some work around the edges. But it's one of the best legal systems ever constructed. Hombre, good evening, my friend. I want to make the country better. I'm an idealist, I guess. I'm optimist. Trust me, I'm a doctor. I want people that are going to kick authority in the balls. Do you think Dr. Oz is going to do that?
He's kicking authority in the balls.
No, Dr. Oz is going to be the authority that needs to be kicked in the balls. Let's get down to business. I ain't got no time to play around. What is this? Time for that news. More cabinet picks announced.
His cabinet ahead of his return to the White House. Two sources tell CBS News that Trump is selecting billionaire Howard Lutnick to serve as the next Commerce Secretary.
But Trump is for the working class.
Lutnick is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and a major donor to the Trump campaign. He also served as co-chair for the Trump transition team. The president-elect also selected former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy to serve as his transportation secretary, if confirmed.
Sean Duffy.
Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump is pushing to have his pick for Attorney General.
Dr. Oz has been tapped to be the administrator of Medicare and Medicaid. CMM director.
Confirmed despite new details emerging about allegations of sexual misconduct involving Matt Gaetz. Joel Leppard, a lawyer for two women, spoke to CBS News disclosing his clients told the House Ethics Committee they each paid to have sex with the former congressman. One of the women claims she witnessed Gaetz.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Minty has pointed out that they might be considering the Surgeon General of Florida, Lapido, right? Is that his name? Lapido is a fucking nut. Now, it's not officially announced yet, but apparently he is tapped Linda McMahon, wife of Vince McMahon, former WWE CEO, to be the Secretary of Education.
Having sex with a minor. Leppard said his clients testified that they attended parties from 2017 to January 2019, where Gaetz was present and sex and drug use took place. Gaetz has denied all allegations. Let's bring in CBS News political reporter Zach Hudak from Washington.
Hudak.
So before we get to the latest on Gaetz, what more can you tell us about Trump's latest picks? Howard Lutnick as Commerce Secretary and former Wisconsin representative and Fox Business host Sean Duffy as his next transportation secretary.
Another Fox host.
I think that Howard Lutnick as Commerce Secretary is a relatively unsurprising pick and relatively non-controversial one. He is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald. I think what's interesting about that pick is that he's a guy who's been a big cryptocurrency booster. So
of course he has.
Illustrates what we saw with Trump on the trail, which was that he is someone who wants to back the cryptocurrency industry, but also it underscores his close association with Elon Musk, who's been a big advocate for that industry as well. Now, for Sean Duffy, I think what's interesting about him, he's also not particularly controversial relative to some of these other Trump picks. He's a former congressman and a contributor to Fox News. But I think that Fox News piece is particularly noteworthy. This is the second administration pick the former president's had, who is a regular.
Wait, that's all you watched was sumo wrestling? Oh, no, I think the press secretary needs to be somebody. Alex Jones. Pick Alex Jones for press secretary. That's what I want. Come on, if we're gonna go all out. Zon, did I tell you good evening? Because, like, Japan has some wild game shows and shit. Why'd you have to watch sumo wrestling the whole time? You could do worse, but there's other things on Japanese TV. They got anime. Like, that's huge. Anonymously, good evening.
Personality on Fox. But also, Duffy sort of started his career in the public life as a reality star, as did former President Trump, or at least that really helped President Trump expand his profile. But Duffy was on MTV in the late 90s. So he's a guy who I think the president-elect can relate to in a lot of ways, even beyond politics.
And Trump is standing by his pick for attorney general. Now there are reports that he's pressuring Republican senators to have Gates confirmed. How are these latest revelations affecting the chances of Gates' nomination?
Lindsay, they are certainly not helping the chances. Gates already had quite an uphill battle because he is, frankly, one of the most disliked men on Capitol.
I don't think he does. I think he's going to be the attorney general. I don't think it's going to matter. I think Trump is going to get his picks. It's going to be recess appointments.
Capitol Hill. He has some very, very close allies there, but particularly in the House, he has a lot of enemies that he's made. This is the guy who pretty much...
He was on The Real World? I see, I'd already stopped watching MTV by then. Like, 99, 2000, 2001, I'm totally out of MTV because, like, it's sucking at that time.
Single-handedly brought Speaker McCarthy's reign to an end. So he has many enemies to begin with. These revelations give additional fuel to them, and they would have opposed him to begin with. Now, over in the Senate, things are even more difficult because some of these more moderate senators are going to need a sacrificial lamb that they can vote down in order to allow some of Trump's other picks to get through. Gates is looking like he would be an easy pick for them. It seems, though, as you said, like President-elect Trump is really trying to push back on that and really wants to get Gates in as a guy who desires to revamp the Justice Department the way that Trump wants it to be changed.
We know these picks have been coming fast and furious. We also know from CBS reporting that Trump wants to announce his entire cabinet by Thanksgiving. The president-elect still has a few cabinet positions to fill. What roles are you watching for?
Lindsay, I think by far...
Almost rated him the other night, Prometheus.
Treasury Secretary. It is not an understanding.
I didn't have that many people in the chat, and they're kind of a big channel. So, it was one night we were watching music videos or Saturday Night Live or something. By the time we got to the end of the stream, there's like 6 people in here. And, I feel weird rating into like a bigger channel for the first time with like 6 people. We have like 30 or something. Okay. We have new information on Gates. Bombshell dropping in the last few hours. Let's see where this goes.
Well, the president-elect is also facing fallout from his choice to tap Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. CBS News Major Garrett sat down with Joel Leppert, who represents at least 2 of the 4 women who testified before the House Ethics Committee about former Congressman Gaetz' alleged conduct.
I had police body cam.
Clients told the committee that they were paid.
You don't want to watch the police body cam I have that we're going to watch here in just a little bit because it's like several minutes of them beating the shit out of a man with cerebral palsy, but I have police body camera to watch tonight.
To have sex with Matt Gaetz and others. According to Leppert, one woman testified she witnessed Gaetz having sex with a minor. Take a listen to some of those allegations in that interview.
She arrived at the party. She had sex with Representative Gates within minutes of her arrival. Later on, when she was walking out to the pool area, she observed to her right Representative Gates having sex with her friend, who was 17 at the time.
And on this question, she's absolutely sure.
She's absolutely certain that she observed, seeing her friend and Representative Gates having sex against what she described as a game table of some sort.
If the House Ethics Committee report were to be made public, what do you think it would reveal?
My clients want to know that this happened and it's real. They didn't vote in the last 2 elections. They don't care one way or another, but they do want the public to know that they are not lying. They did not come forward willingly. They've never spoken to anyone without the force of a legal subpoena. The testimonies of her and the other 11 individuals that testified would show that this actually did happen.
Princess Kimberly
would know, and they could decide if that's the person they want to be the next Attorney General of the United States.
Matt Gaetz has denied all wrongdoing and called the committee's investigation a
Oregon
smear.
gal.
The Trump team responded after that interview aired on CBS Evening News last night. Trump transition spokesperson Alex Pfeiffer said in part, Matt Gaetz will be the next Attorney General.
I think he will be.
The job and will end the weaponization of our justice system. These are baseless allegations intended to derail the second Trump administration. So let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, an unknown and unauthorized third party has gained access to 24 depositions of witnesses in the Gaetz investigation. What more?
Release them.
There's this growing consensus here at the Capitol, Reed.
Yeah, they're burying the lead. Gained access to the deposition. It will be leaked.
Let's bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. Scott, an unknown and unauthorized third party has gained access to 24 depositions of witnesses in the Gaetz investigation. What more do we know about those?
There's this growing consensus here at the Capitol, Reed, that somehow this report's going to get out in the open. Whether the Ethics Committee publicly releases it or whether there is some type of leak.
Absolutely.
Through the way you just described or through either a member or one of the staffers here on Capitol Hill. There seems to be an acceptance to the fact this is going to get out into the open, whether the Ethics Committee recommends it formally tomorrow or not. And the House Ethics Committee is meeting tomorrow.
And they're not going to.
12-person panel, 6 Republicans, 6 Democrats, is expected to meet and potentially vote on whether to publicly release what it found about Matt Gaetz through a 3-year investigation. But here's the twist. For the House Ethics Committee, which is evenly divided by both parties, a majority vote is needed to do this, which means somebody's got to go to the other side. And in this politically charged moment, it's unclear that's going to happen. We do know from our interviews today with senators, we've been talking to a whole lot of them, that both parties have senators that would like to see this thing before a confirmation hearing, before they decide whether or not to confirm Matt Gaetz. There's clearly some concern here.
That's a nice tie he's
Congressional
wearing.
Correspondent
I'll give
Scott
him that.
McFarland on all of the breaking developments. Thank you so much, Scott.
Damn it, Scott. Yeah, I love how that's what the Trump people have been yelling for years. They're using lawfare, and that's exactly what they're going to come in and do. You're going to see a delay in the sentencing of Trump in the New York case. Prosecutors oppose dropping it, though.
New York prosecutors who secured the first ever criminal conviction of a former president on Tuesday said the hush money case against Donald Trump should not be dismissed in light of his election victory. 78-year-old Trump had been scheduled to be sentenced on November 26th, but Justice Juan Merchan last week put all proceedings on hold at the request of Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. And prosecutors raised the possibility of a 4-year pause in proceedings, which could resume after Trump leaves the White House.
Fucking A.
In May, a jury found Trump guilty of falsifying business records to cover up a $130,000 payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels. The money was meant to buy her silence before the 2016 election about...
See, I don't know, DJ Dub. The fact that they're like, well, let's delay it until he's out of office. I'm cool with that. Because apparently the DOJ, it's better than them dismissing it. That's what I expected them to do. To just drop it. But Yeah, let him serve the term and then sentence him afterwards. Go for it.
Sexual encounter she says she had with Trump. Trump denies the affair and pleaded not guilty at trial. He claimed the prosecution was politically motivated.
But this is a pure case of
pretty much DJ Dub
and election interference.
Trump's lawyers urged Mershon to dismiss the case, arguing that having it loom over Trump while he was president would cause what they called unconstitutional impediments to his ability to govern. His lawyers also argued his conviction should be vacated and the charges dismissed because of a U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in July. The justices decided presidents cannot be prosecuted over their official acts, and that evidence of their official acts cannot be used in trials over personal behavior. Bragg's office said that its case dealt with purely personal conduct.
Yeah.
Falsification of business records is punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Before he was elected, experts said it was unlikely, but not impossible, that Trump would face time behind bars. Trump's victory over Democratic Vice President Kamala Harris
Goddamn, Barron is tall.
election made the prospect of imposing a jail sentence politically fraught and impractical.
I see where you're coming from, DJ Dub, but I figured they were going to dismiss it. I'd rather see this happen than to have them dismiss it. Hey, we've still got other cases though. Let's check in on what them prosecutors be doing in Georgia. Remember, once again, state charges.
The future of the Georgia election interference case is in question after the state court of appeals canceled oral arguments in the case that were scheduled for next month. The court did not give a reason for the order, but legal experts say that action could put the case on hold as President-elect Trump heads back to the White House. Fox 5's Deidre Dukes is live at the Fulton County Courthouse with more on these new developments. Deidre.
That's right, Christine. And legal experts,
I don't think until after conviction, Torchy.
We are in uncharted territory as President-elect Trump prepares to take office. Now, there
might be like a board of pardons or something.
They say could lead to us being in legal limbo in regards to the Fulton case. With President-elect Donald Trump's re-election and recent action by a Georgia appeals court, the Fulton County election interference case appears to be in legal limbo.
I think that what you're finding is this is consistent with what's happening across the country with state court cases.
More than a year after Fulton County DA Fonnie Willis indicted Trump and 18 co-defendants for allegedly trying to overturn Georgia's 2020 election, a state appeals court has canceled oral arguments that were scheduled for next month in the case. In a one-line order, the appeals court said that hearing is hereby canceled until further order of this court.
What happens sometimes? They can decide on their own. There's enough evidence here in the transcript that we can proceed with that and make a decision. I think that's unlikely in this case.
Legal experts are weighing in as the world waits and watches following the dramatic turn of events. Former prosecutor Ash Joshi believes the Georgia Court of Appeals order mirrors similar action taken by some state and federal prosecutors since the election.
Courts don't know what to do, considering that the person they're going to be making a decision about, or in Georgia, one of the people, is the president-elect. And it feels like they have decided to punt the issue.
Emory law professor Alicia Hughes says with President-elect Trump facing several criminal and civil cases as he heads to the White House, the nation's judicial system is entering uncharted territory.
There are a number of factors to consider, but this definitely is what we'd consider uncharted territory. Never in the history of this country have we had a former United States president stare down so many allegations and so many, complaints, both civil and criminal, all around the country. Some founded now, some unfounded, not because they've been dropped, but because they've encountered some procedural hurdles that have not managed to outlast a November 5 election.
Now, those we talked to said that prosecutors could still pursue these pending charges once the president-elect leaves office. Now, we did reach out to DA Willis's office and was told by a spokesperson that she had no comment on the new developments. In downtown Atlanta, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
Wow. All right, Deidre, thank you so much.
Thank you, Deidre. Hell of a job, Deidre. Remember, Trump is still being prosecuted for mishandling classified documents, but is once again receiving classified information in daily briefings. Trump, who is still facing federal charges related to mishandling classified information, has started receiving briefings again. The Washington Post reported on Tuesday that Trump began receiving briefings provided by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence shortly after the election, citing anonymous sources. During his presidential campaign, Trump didn't want to receive classified briefings, saying that he didn't want to be accused of leaking them. Intelligence briefers come in, they give you a briefing, and then 2 days later, they leak it. And then they say you leaked it, Trump said in August. So the only way to solve that problem is not to take it. I'll have plenty of them when I get in. After he lost the 2020 election, Trump took numerous classified documents, including photos and charts relating to national security, with him to the Mar-a-Lago estate, resulting in a federal indictment charging him with 42 felony counts related to willful retention of national security information, corruptly concealing documents, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. The case against Trump would later be dismissed by a judge he appointed, Eileen Cannon, future Supreme Court justice probably, on the weak grounds that special counsel Jack Smith's appointment to the case was unconstitutional, ensuring that Trump would face no consequences for his actions despite extensive evidence against him. Another case where he absolutely is guilty. But instead, he's just going to spend his days watching rockets go off with Elon, his new best buddy.
But Elon Musk taking off right as we speak, blasting that big and beautiful rocket, doing a test flight of their largest and most powerful spacecraft ever, and attempting a tricky maneuver that involves steering the booster back into the mechanical arms or chopsticks of the launch tower. But it's not just rockets. Elon Musk is also about to blast government waste into outer space as he gears up to lead DOGE, a.k.a. the Department of Government.
Torchy, you bring up rain. If you are on the West Coast, get ready, because my God, there is a bomb cyclone coming at you that is going to drop copious amounts of rain on California all the way up through Oregon and Washington. Holy shit.
Efficiency.
That is Ronnie Jackson.
And he's giving us a sneak peek of the bloat they're going to cut. Like, why does our government need $1 million of your tax dollars to study if cocaine makes Japanese quail more sexually promiscuous?
If we're going to cut something, why don't we cut the subsidies that the government gives to companies like SpaceX? I think that's more where we should be looking.
Greg, as you see Donald Trump gazing at that large and beautiful rocket taking off down in South Texas, what goes through your mind?
Japanese quail? Those little whores. By the way, Elon Musk has a great sense of humor. He's having his rocket take off in Boca Chica, which is Spanish for small mouth. Bet you didn't know that. That's why you come here. This is a great metaphor for this period in time. You know, it's a symbolic moment for many of us. We're having new beginnings. We're charting a different path, a positive path. And it's an interesting contrast between private and public enterprise. You know, Musk is all about operating utmost efficiency, being lean, being effective. We're comparing that to the government, which is all about being expansive, that somehow being expansive means you're better, but it's not. It's not at all. What it creates is a bloated bureaucracy that becomes parasitic to the host. So that's why DOGE is necessary. He's trying to return us to the idea that the most efficient way of doing things is lean. He fired thousands of people from Twitter. The result was a leaner.
Hold on. I've got Washington Post saying there's a lot of dishonesty in the claim about Japanese quill. The various dishonesties in Rand Paul's cocaine quill presentation. No one can ever claim that Senator Rand Paul doesn't know how to attract media attention. Of late, Paul has centered that effort on challenging scientific orthodoxy on the coronavirus pandemic. On Thursday evening, though, this was 3 years ago, he intertwined that approach to government science with his longstanding opposition to government spending. In a speech from the Senate floor, he drew attention to taxpayer-funded research he presented as unnecessary. You want to study cocaine, you want to study Japanese quill using cocaine, you want to know if they're more sexually promiscuous, you want to know how you get approval for funding, you call up your other buddies that study cocaine in animals and you say, hey, I've got this great new study, would you guys like to join it and be my peer review committee? So it's actually the ridiculous studies that we discover, they're being voted on by people who are selected by people doing the studies. He even had a hard-to-miss visual depicting a quail with its head buried in a pile of cocaine. For the moment, let's set aside the actual content of Paul's objection. Let me instead bolster my original point about Paul's understanding of how to make a compelling media moment. For you see, Paul offered a version of the same pitch earlier this week. The gist of the argument was the same, giving cocaine to birds, but as you'll notice in the screenshot below, the visual was slightly different. On the graphic Paul used on Tuesday, the amount was listed as 874,000. The one he used on Thursday night, it was 356,000. It's a big shift from less than 1 million to about 357 million, or so it may seem. In reality, the shift is only a function of the weird way in which the Thursday night figure was shown. You'll notice that Paul and I, in the paragraph above, wrote the 14 cents as 140, making it look like the figure was in the millions. It wasn't. In fact, the 874,000 figure was correct, and I'll show in a second. I'm not convinced that the way in which Paul wrote it was intentionally misleading, though it clearly was misleading. As it turns out, that 357,000 graphic has appeared on the Senate floor before. The answer is that yes, the government spent the same amount on this research in 2018 as it did in 2021. That value was zero. $0 were spent on cocaine quill research. You can look up data on NIH grants. This particular research was called Enhancement of Sexual Motivation, and it did, in fact, receive $873,000 from the agency over the course of its progress. But that funding ended more than 5 years ago. It ended before Paul raised it in 2018. So why is he talking about it? Well, in part because the visual aid is so good, clearly, but also because this particular study is so easy to lampoon. Giving cocaine to quill to evaluate risky sex practices, it does sound ridiculous on the surface. That's why it made its way into Senator Tom Coburn's annual waste book. In 2012, Coburn picked out examples like this study to suggest that the government was profligate with tax dollars. And so he and his staff that year picked out the Quell study for mockery. After this study was isolated by Coburn, Scientific America specifically defended the research as useful and warranted. This is how the magazine explained the utility in studying the cocaine use. For example, it's important to learn how to treat and someday we hope how to cure addicts. In order to do this, we need to know how drugs of abuse work, what their immediate and long-term effects and different behaviors are, and how we might combat some of these effects, or return the behaviors to normal in the absence of the drug. There is already an extensive literature on drugs like cocaine, how it impacts various behaviors, and how it acts in and changes the brain. But we don't know everything by any means, and we certainly don't know enough about mechanisms to treat cocaine addiction effectively. Studies to understand how cocaine impacts every behavior are important to our understanding of the drug and how we can combat its effects. So there you have it. Just like I explained to the caller the other day. You look up these studies and there are benefits to them. There's a reason why we might be doing them. And also, apparently we haven't done this fucking Quell cocaine shit in almost 10 years now, and Fox is still harping about it because it convinces idiots that the government's wasting money.
Or better X that lost its echo chamber. It's like he fired 80% of the employees, and it's like your liver returning to normal after giving up booze. I think he looks at companies and he goes, why is the HR department larger than the sales force? Why are there more administrators on colleges than teachers? So I think he's trying.
I feel sorry for this dude. There's Ronnie Jackson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz. This motherfucker right here is surrounded by some of the worst people on the planet.
Trying to show what you can do without any of this bloat.
I don't believe they have DEI at SpaceX, Katie. And look.
Agreed. Agreed, DJ Dub.
That hire based on people who can get
SpaceX is not efficient.
accomplish the American dream that Elon Musk has had to come here and do these
And if it wasn't for NASA, SpaceX would not be able to do any of this shit.
incredible things, which obviously Donald Trump, who has built an empire rebuilding the New York City skyline,
It's fucked watching this.
very much appreciates and understands that the government makes these things more difficult rather than easier. But
Oh
also
my
there's a
God.
national security component to this. Of course, Donald Trump
SpaceX literally couldn't exist without the government. Fuck, this kind of shit makes me want to punch somebody.
established the Space Force during his first term, and so that can be helpful. And also there's the interesting component of them trying to recycle some of the boosters that they use, because of course, in a private company, you have to use the money that you have. You don't just spend like the government and abuse because you don't have more coming in the door just because you want to do a project here and there. So I think it's there. And
Wow. NASA can do everything that SpaceX is doing and do it better and cheaper. And Fox News is saying the exact opposite.
And I'm sure that you'll see Elon Musk as an advisor on what they can do in space moving forward.
And it does look like, Jessica, the rocket might be coming back down, about to
Chopsticks alert.
be caught in the chopsticks.
Yeah.
It is absolutely true, Bagheera, you dumb fuck.
About Elon Musk, right? That he does things like this and that he has the vision and puts the right people in place in order to create something like this. And looking back, I mean, there are many autopsies as to what happened in the election, but one of the most important factors was Elon Musk for Trump, not just in how much he spent. I think it was like $140 million when all is said and done, but the impact that he had, especially on younger male voters, as a sign of what entrepreneurialism can look like, what innovation can look like, what a person who is neurodivergent and does things a little bit in his own
Holy shit.
is still this massive success can do. And I think it was a major selling point of that ticket that you were going to be getting the presence of someone like Elon Musk. Now, there's stuff that I disagree with him about, and we'll see how much he'll be able to cut through Doge, because you really need to go after defense and Social Security if you're trying to take a bite out of the bloat. But it's just awesome.
And America's adventures into outer space, Judge, something that's always been inspiring for the American people.
Yeah, it is one of the things that brings the American people together. You know, it's true. I mean, Trump started a Space Force during his first term, and it's just inevitable that this marriage between Musk and Trump would occur.
The marriage.
The fact that, I mean, you know, Musk was someone who, you know, has this incredible mind and, you know, is talking about actually colonizing Mars. I mean, you know, we were the first to go onto the moon, but the idea that we would be able to actually colonize.
I went the wrong way with it.
Incredible. But, you know, Trump is such a great entrepreneur that he sees the.
This is sickening. I can't watch any more of this. Fuck. They're just sucking Musk and Trump off. Sheer fucking propaganda. My God. Bagheera, what data do you have to back that up? It's not more cost effective. It couldn't exist without the government. It lives off government grants. It lives off of NASA's technology. You really need to actually fucking look shit up before you say dumb shit and accuse me of misleading people when this is well fucking documented. How in the fuck is a private company going to do something more efficient than the government? It doesn't make any sense. How the fuck is Elon Musk going to make money and do something cheaper than the government, which doesn't have to turn a profit? Oh, guess what? It can't. That is literally impossible. And if you think they can, you are a dumb fuck. Don't accuse me of misleading people when you have no goddamn idea what you are talking about. This is why I call right-wingers fucking morons. Private companies are never more efficient than the government. Matter of fact, all the government waste that you guys love to complain about is private companies sucking at the government teat. Once again, SpaceX could not exist without the government grants it gets, without the government contracts it gets. You need to actually look up these things before you proclaim them as true, because you are a dumbass. Please go Google it or Bing it or whatever, but go to an actual reputable source, not some fucking propaganda like Fox News, which is just there to slather all over Elon's dick and talk him up. You fucking clown. The Democrats suffered devastating losses in 2024. The race to take over the party has begun. I know who I don't want it to be, and I know who I absolutely want it to be. Martin O'Malley might be a compromise. I do not want it to be Rahm Emanuel, who is another name that has been floated out there. Two candidates have officially launched their campaign to be the next chair of the Democratic National Committee. Martin O'Malley, a 2016 Democratic presidential candidate and former Maryland governor, became the first notable figure to jump into the race. Ken Martin, who is the chair of Minnesota's arm of the Democratic Party. Minnesota, not bad, but you didn't deliver for Harris in a big way now, did you? Democrats are sifting through the fallout of the 2024 presidential election, where they not only lost the White House and control of the Senate, but also failed to win back control of the House. The party finds itself without a clear leader and a unified vision for the future, representing both a hurdle for the next DNC chair, but also an opportunity to overhaul Democrats' approach with voters across the country in the coming years. Whoever the party's over 440 members elect to lead the party's national committee will be in charge of the party's top-level infrastructure, organizing, and fundraising. And while DNC members tell CBS News that the eventual chair won't determine the widespread policy of the party, that person will serve as a notable mouthpiece to help craft the Democratic message. While the party itself was locked out of federal control after the election's fundraising remained strong, Jamie Harrison, the current DNC chair, has said he would not seek re-election. The timeline for the election has not yet been determined, though it will be addressed in a DNC Rules and Bylaws Committee meeting in December. DNC members expect the election itself to take place at their widespread member meeting before the spring of 2025. In their launches, O'Malley and Martin both said prioritizing the party's message on the economy is essential. The state of the economy was a big issue that bolstered President-elect Donald Trump's return to office, according to CBS News exit poll. I hate fucking CBS News is misleading here. The data clearly shows that not understanding what's going on with the economy was a big reason why Trump won his re-election bid. Where's my chart? Don't make me tap the chart again. I've used it so many times. Okay, there we go. Misinformed views on immigration, crime, and the economy correlated with ballot choice. So CBS is being derelict in their duty by not pointing that out, just saying, oh, misgivings about the economy caused Trump's reelection. No, misinformation about the economy. Chuck Rocha is who I would like to see be DNC chair, a political strategist who worked for Senator Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign and Senator-elect Ruben Gallegos' campaign, told CBS News he is seriously considering a run for chair and has fielded calls from a handful of DNC members and nonprofits. Rocha said that he's still waiting to see how the field develops before jumping in, if there's a better candidate that really stands out for what I want to see done with the party. Rocha has set several action items he would take as chair: eliminate education requirements for senior DNC positions, mandating the state parties be more inclusive and diverse with consultant hiring, and to focus on building party infrastructure in all 50 states. That sounds like a winning strategy. I would much rather see it be Morton O'Malley. Somewhat centrist, but I would say embraced a Bernie-like populism in 2016 when he ran. It was only like Bernie, Hillary, and Morton O'Malley. What in the fuck are you talking about, Bagheera? The people who are struggling to get by, you don't think I'm one of the people struggling to get by? You don't think me and my friends are the people struggling to get by? The fuck are you talking about? You think electing a so-called billionaire and an investment venture capitalist to the presidency is going to somehow help people that are struggling to get by? Are you a dumb fuck? You think putting the richest man in the world in charge of eliminating waste from the government when he's the one sucking from the teat of the government, you think that's going to help people struggling to get by? You think of putting a billionaire as the commerce secretary is going to help people struggling to get by? Seriously. This is why I call right-wingers fucking morons. Bagheera, holy fucking shit. Have you seen the way Republicans talk about everybody else? Have you seen the way Donald Trump talks about people? That's just like right-wingers made a big deal about Joe Biden calling Trump supporters garbage. And just a month before, Trump had called Harris supporters garbage. Like, you people are fucking idiots. Like, for real, you're an idiot. I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking real to you. I'm not talking down to people struggling to get by. I'm trying to help people struggling to get by. Fucking organize and put together policies that's going to help them. Somehow, right-wingers have convinced themselves putting billionaires in charge of the government is going to help them. And boy, are you dumbasses wrong.
Do you think we're stupid? You think we're fools?
It boggles my mind. And Bagheera's probably not fucking broke. You guys have seen those fucking memes, right? Of like these $500,000 homes with the big ass trucks in front of them. It's like, I can't afford eggs. That's who you fuckers are. The head of FEMA faces questions about denying relief to Trump supporters. It got a little heated.
Hurricanes Helene and Milton devastated the southeast United States and killed hundreds. I'm Kayla Gaskins on Capitol Hill, where today the leader of FEMA faced tough questions from lawmakers.
After Hurricane Helene tore through the southeastern United States,
it looked like somebody just came and dropped bombs everywhere.
It took FEMA quite a long time to reach some rural mountain communities.
Some.
7 days we were here, I didn't see anyone from FEMA.
Some, because being from this area, I can tell you, it's kind of hard to get to those areas.
Or anything like that.
On Tuesday, FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell sitting before two separate congressional committees to address lawmakers' concerns.
I can't wrap my head around the fact that the federal agency charged with leading our response to disasters cannot seem to maneuver to homes in the mountains of western North Carolina.
Both Democrats and
Really? I can.
answers about alarming reports FEMA skipped over homes with Donald Trump signs when responding to Hurricane Milton in Florida.
This was a bad mistake, legally and constitutionally, which violated the core mission of FEMA and every federal agency to work on behalf of all Americans.
Last week, FEMA fired the supervisor who gave the order, but the woman maintains she was simply following FEMA protocol.
I'm certain I'm being scapegoated, basically.
I'm certain you are too.
And lie and tell the American people I was working on my own volition. I don't create policy. FEMA does. I just implement it in the field.
Criswell pressed on allegations a second FEMA official backed up those claims.
Who says that the agency's practice of skipping Trump-supported houses or avoiding white or conservative-dominated disaster zones altogether is an open secret at the agency and has been going on for years. What is your response?
Oh, I doubt that.
We have investigated this incident, but the evidence that I have seen so far shows that this was an isolated incident.
Meanwhile, President Biden and Congress working to figure out how to get more money to FEMA. The president requesting an additional $40 billion specifically for FEMA's disaster relief fund. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gass.
They were attacking FEMA workers, so I can kind of understand the hesitation to send the workers to homes that are clearly influenced by right-wing media, shall we say. And a Trump sign in the yard would be a good indication of that. The majority of hurricanes happen in right-wing areas. And what, you're telling me it goes back years into the Trump administration? Come the fuck on. Let's hear from Nancy Mace and her transphobic ass. I hope she's at least going to show us some cleavage again.
To Washington, controversy there is brewing due to a proposed resolution targeting Delaware Congresswoman-elect Sarah McBride. Republican Nancy Mace is working to bar transgender women from using female restrooms on Capitol Hill.
So I'm absolutely 100% going to stand in the way of any man who wants to be in a women's restroom, in our locker rooms, in our changing rooms. I will be there fighting you every step of the way.
So Mace introduced the 2-page resolution that would bar House members, officers, and employees from using single-sex facilities in Capitol buildings that don't coincide with their gender assigned at birth. The proposal comes as the House prepares to swear in McBride, who will become the first open...
Are you booing over the transphobia or the lack of titties? Or both?
Transgender member of Congress. I reached out to her team this morning and they said she's focused right now on new member orientation on the Hill today. But in a post on X, she called Mace's resolution a
11, welcome in.
To distract from what they have no real resolutions to what Americans are facing. She added, everyday Americans go to work with people who have life journeys different than their own and engage with them respectfully. And I hope that members of Congress can muster up that same kindness. Now, House Speaker Johnson declined to say if he would put that resolution into the House rules package.
This is an issue that Congress has never had to address before, and we're going to do that in deliberate fashion with member consensus on it, and we will accommodate the needs of every single person.
I feel so sorry for her.
So Mace said that if the proposal is not in the House rules package, she is going to move to force a vote for that, and if approved, the House Sergeant at Arms would be tasked with enforcing these bathroom rules.
Bathroom rules. That's where we're at as a country. Saw this post on Twitter. Feel like it's very prescient. The law that Nancy Mace is trying to force through would cause the man on the left to have to use a women's restroom and the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restroom. And the woman on the right to have to use a men's restro Does anyone think the person on the left should be in a women's restroom? Or that the person on the right should be in a men's restroom? Seems pretty cut and dry to me. I don't understand how right-wingers don't get it. Yeah, she's in enemy territory with, I was hoping she would be the first trans congresswoman with a Democratic House. Unfortunately, she won't. Ram Ranch, welcome in. I don't know anything about him, Post. Just know he's a porn star. We're going to get into the crime section of the show. And boy, are we starting off with some crazy ones. I got a murder, a kidnapping, cop assault. Then we get into fun stuff like a gas station theft in a panda costume. So if you want to skip the murder and horrendous beating of a man with cerebral palsy that we're going to watch the cops do here in a minute, I'd say give us 20 minutes and then come back in and we'll be to like gas station thefts in a panda suit. That's what everyone's looking forward to. Woman streaking through AT&T Stadium. Morrissey saying he can't put out new music because of the woke. This dude's apparently a social media influencer. Or just a guy with a TikTok trying to get famous, has now been charged with murder.
Victim's family is now speaking out for the first time since that deadly accident. NBC4's Camilla Rambaldi joins us live from West Hollywood with the details. Camilla.
Robert and Colleen, the deadly crash happened right here at the intersection of Fountain and Spalding Avenues back on October 10th. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has now filed charges against Garrett Bruno, a social media influencer, including murder. I spoke with the son of the woman killed over the phone this afternoon, telling NBC4 his parents were married for over 50 years, calling the loss of his mother incomprehensible. Greg Morris is remembering his 83-year-old mother, Esther Abuab.
My mom was so full of life. She loved to sing and dance, and she was an artist, and every expression
You love to sing?
of her came out in every day.
I'm sorry, that's horrible.
Was killed and his father left seriously injured in a crash in West Hollywood the afternoon of October 10th.
We're not well. My family is in complete anguish over the senseless and violent murder of my precious mother. She was the glue of our family.
What exactly happened?
Really the center of all of our universe. This loss of my mother is something that none of us are ever going to be able to heal from.
Morris telling NBC4 his mother was in the car with his father, Joe. The crash happened near the intersection of Fountain and Spalding Avenues. LASC traffic investigators say two Ford SUVs crashed into each other at the intersection. The driver going north down Spalding Avenue was identified as Garrett Bruno. Esther and Joe Abuab were in the second SUV going eastbound on Fountain Avenue. Video from the day of the crash shows the car the couple was in pushed into a parking garage.
We're all gonna walk through life with a big hole in our heart. And my poor father, there's no words on the pain and anguish that my father is gonna have to live with for the rest of his.
That's what I'm wondering is exactly how this crash occurred, that it's murder and not vehicular homicide. Because murder requires premeditation. So what are the details?
His life. It's just devastating.
The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has filed charges against Garrett Bruno. He faces 1 count of murder, a count of reckless driving on a highway causing bodily injury, and 1 count of battery upon a peace officer, firefighter, EMT, doctor, nurse, or other designated persons. Now, Greg Morris tells me his father.
What the fuck exactly happened? They're kind of dancing around things here. Can you tell us what in the fuck did this kid do? And if he's an influencer, was he filming?
Joe has been released from the hospital. NBC4 has reached out to the attorney of Garrett Bruno for comment on the charges that were filed. We are waiting to hear back. In West Hollywood tonight, Camilla Rambaldi, NBC4 News.
Oh, we're going, yeah, Vegas, fuck. The Daily Mail probably has all the... Smokey, come on. Daily Mail probably has all the details. I can't see, buddy. I need you to get down. Smokey. If there are juicy details out there, I know the Daily Mail is going to have them. That's where you go to for shit like this. So the driver of the other car was later identified as Garrett Bruno, 33, who the DailyMail.com photographed snorting a white powder just days after the crash. Oh, he was a MAGA influencer. Hunky MAGA influence. This gets even crazier. Snorts white powder on street at 11 a.m. days after crash that killed 83-year-old woman. Yep, he's definitely doing some cocaine. Smokey, seriously. What cabinet position is this motherfucker gonna get? Cute puppy, though. When police stormed his $1.1 million property to arrest him last week, it emerged that he is currently in a coma in the hospital, fighting for his life after a subsequent scooter crash on October 25th. They completely left that out of the story. So, and the man that was killed was apparently a famed restaurateur. You know, the son is a famed restaurateur. Added that his parents have been married for more than 50 years. The force of the impact sent them across 4 lanes of traffic and into the gates of an underground garage. Her mother succumbed to her devastating injuries, while her precious father Joe was left in serious condition with 2 shattered ankles and several other serious injuries. God damn. This was the vehicle being driven by Bruno. There he is, following the crash, covered in blood. This is where he apparently assaulted a medic or something. They got him handcuffed. M-Lord, good evening. Bruno amassed tens of thousands of followers with glossy photographs of himself globe-trotting to multiple glitzy destinations. The West Hollywood-based travel influencer later shocked the LGBT enclave by coming out as a Donald Trump supporter over the summer. Whoa. Bruno has been in a coma since his scooter accident on October 25th. He was not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash and cracked his head on the pavement. The internet star was rushed to hospital unconscious, where he remains gravely ill with his parents by his bed. Bruno suffered the accident 15 days after allegedly causing the crash that killed Esther Abouab, and 6 days after the Daily Mail photographed him sniffing cocaine. Armed cops only learned of Bruno's scooter accident late Friday night when they stormed his $1.1 million rental bungalow to arrest him for Abouab's murder. Exclusive DailyMail.com images show the moment the dramatic raid took place, with the deputy shouting, "Sheriff's office, search warrant, come out with your hands up." So this is photographs for Good Evening. The distressing sequence of events began on October 10th when Bruno slammed his Ford Escape SUV into the side of a Ford Expedition in which Abouab was traveling with her husband Joe. Bruno was traveling north on North Spalding Avenue, a few blocks from his home, when he smashed into Abouab's car as it drove along Fountain Avenue. The speed limit on the street where Bruno was driving was 25 miles per hour, although the force of the impact suggests the car was traveling much faster. Abouab was rushed to the hospital, where she later died. A few days later, Bruno suffered the first of 2 scooter accidents when he went for a ride, fell off, and broke his jaw. 3 metal screws were inserted into his injury to help him recover. On Snicks, this is my voice. This is my broadcasting voice. I paid my fucking share. I paid for the whole fucking month. Don't shush me. You have been banging that goddamn door all goddamn day. It is driving me crazy. I'm sitting here trying to work. Bang door, bang door, bang door. Please. Jesus. Fucking fuck. And I was going to clip this and put it on YouTube, and now I'm... Thanks, Prometheus. I appreciate that. Which one you want? Let me grab... Smokey's been all over the stream. Let me grab socks. Here's a Soxy boy. He is adorable. He's so fun to cuddle up with. Yes, lay there. There. That's good. We apparently have video of a UPS driver's kidnapping before a shootout that led to his death.
It began as an armed robbery at a Coral Gables jewelry store, leaving a salesman wounded.
Oh, I remember this one. I remember this story. I better hit the content warning for this.
ended in a hail of gunfire in Miramar, where 2 innocent men were killed. One sitting in his car at a red light, the other the UPS driver.
Yeah, this happened about 2 years ago.
And now the story you'll see only on 6.
NBC6 Investigates Tony Pipitone shows you how that UPS driver fell into the hands of those armed robbers.
NBC6 Investigates has obtained hours of video and other never-before-seen evidence of those events nearly 5 years ago.
Oh, it's 5 years ago.
He alleges they helped prove 4 Miami-Dade officers committed manslaughter. Now, and later at 6, see for yourself what those officers saw.
Shut up. Again, shots have been fired.
1 hour before those bullets would fly on Miramar Parkway,
Crossfire, guys, crossfire. Feet covered.
UPS delivery driver Frank Ordonez was just doing his job 15 miles away in Coral Gables.
Poor dude.
Ordonez, a 27-year-old father of 2, walked back to his truck and into danger he never saw coming. 2 men who just robbed a Miracle Mile jewelry store, leaving a sales agent injured, needed a clean getaway. After a robbery victim's gunfire hit one of them in the back and took out their rental van's back window as they fled. Less than 15 minutes later, the 2 previously convicted felons saw a chance in the UPS truck and its driver about to turn hostage. There's the getaway driver, Lamar Alexander, with the red bag, trailed by his wounded, limping accomplice, Ronnie Hill, carrying the loot in the laundry bag. And they mean business, as one of the hijackers says. They talk for over a minute before they commandeer Ordonez's truck with him inside and speed off. Within seconds, the
that was dumb.
Who just wished him a good day called 911 and reported.
You don't get anywhere in a UPS truck.
UPS truck just got robbed. Carjacked.
From Coral Gables to Miramar, more than 50 officers in 2 counties sought to save Ordonez and arrest his kidnappers.
Again, shots have been fired, and the driver was pointing a gun to the UPS driver's head.
This one sped at over 100 miles an hour to catch up to the fleeing felons. Another passed the truck on I-75, approaching Pines Boulevard, only to draw gunfire from Hill's Glock.
Hey, he just lit up my green and white. F4, guys, my car's all shut up.
From there, they crashed through the security gate of Century Village, speeding through the community, before emerging on the south side onto Pembroke Road. By the time they hit Miramar Parkway, an FHP trooper was right behind, and a Broward Sheriff's helicopter and Chopper 6 were above to document their final stand, once stuck in traffic just east of Flamingo Road. On the ground, these 3 body cams were worn by officers who, with another, were indicted in June on manslaughter charges for what prosecutors claim they did in the next 25 seconds. All those officers pled not guilty. Now tonight at 6, you'll see exactly what those body cams recorded, and we'll ask a legal expert with experience as both a prosecutor and a defender whether what you see there reveals manslaughter, as the Broward State Attorney claims, or officers acting in defense of themselves or others. Tony
Manslaughter.
NBC6.
Clearly manslaughter. Who does that when they know there's a hostage in the vehicle? Okay, this one needs, and you've got no profanity on me. This one absolutely needs a content warning. Because what you're getting ready to watch is horrific. Cops in Phoenix, Arizona arrested a man with cerebral palsy. 7 heavy, you're adding another 10 minutes on it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Tonight, you're watching new and exclusive video. For the first time, you'll see the man who is deaf, beaten and tasered by Phoenix police, give his side of the story. He's being recorded by officers inside the hospital right after that violent arrest. ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biskobing broke the story.
And tonight, Dave's back with several new videos that reveal a lot more about what happened.
This case is a messy one for Phoenix police. It's got the nation's attention. It's under internal investigation. It happened after the DOJ's investigation, and there's going to be a lawsuit. And the new video you're about to see will play a role in all of it. By now, you and millions of others have seen this video of this violent arrest. Officers jumping out of their cars, then punching and tasering Tyrone McAlpin. What you haven't seen is this video, taken 90 minutes later, showing Tyrone in the hospital. This is not a police interview, but officers are recording him. It shows a doctor or nurse asking Tyrone about his injuries.
My face. The left side of your face? Okay. Were you punched? Did you hit your head on the ground? How did your face get injured?
Tyrone is signing at this monitor. On the screen, there's an interpreter.
The officers took me down. I guess I was sitting on my face, and I told them I was kind of giving it to my ears, like, hey, I can't hear, pointing to my ears. I was just trying to show some gestures, and then the cops, and that's the cops that grabbed me, so I was trying to show, like, hey, I can't hear, pointing to my ears, and they stopped, and they grabbed me. Okay.
Again, that's from Tyrone right after the arrest, before he's ever spoken to a lawyer. And to repeat, he says he raised his arms, tried to point to his ears, but officers grabbed him too quickly.
Yeah, I was trying to tell them that I was having that I have a disability. Do you have any health problems?
And the cops started punching him.
Aside from being deaf?
Tyrone and his attorneys say he also has cerebral palsy.
So back when I was like 3 or 4 years old, I used to walk with a walker. Okay. And I had braces on both of my legs. Did you pass out? With the taser.
Tyrone told the medical worker he had trouble seeing out of his left eye, plus neck pain, chest pain, trouble breathing, and when moving to lift his shirt, he yelped in pain. Now, we also got more body camera video that explains a lot more about what officers knew before and after the arrest. So let's start at the very beginning. This never-before-seen footage shows what the first officer was told, heading to a trespassing/fight call from workers at a Circle K.
Aggressor, white female? Woo! I wonder what he said.
Huh?
What the hell did he say? And that's a joke, by the way. Body camera, it's a joke.
Oh, fuck you, you misogynist piece of shit.
The officer joking with his own body camera is Officer Ben Harris. As he drives, dispatch clarifies
Arizona
is actually a white
Close.
man, something Officer Harris repeats to himself.
White male, 20s, gray shirt, blue shorts. White male, 20s, gray shirt, blue shorts.
Officer Harris then arrives and goes into the store.
Do you need him to leave?
Yeah, I don't want to come out.
The man claims he was assaulted by multiple people, and outside he points across the street. That's where Tyrone is walking.
You're alleging he assaulted you. Do you want him to go to jail?
Yes. He put his hands on me. I felt violent, and he was pushing me outside the door, and he was standing outside the door opening it saying,
why don't you wait here for me?
Harris conducts no follow-up with store employees.
Hey, buddy, stop where you're at.
Now, we've shown what happens next plenty of times. We're not going to play it all in this report.
Apparently he's deaf, so signs, so I don't know.
So let's get to what happens after Tyrone is arrested. As other officers investigate, they continue to learn that what this guy claimed was false. In fact, back at the store, Circle K employees say he also got into a fight the night before with someone else.
Wow.
It was somebody in the parking lot.
The white dude.
The white dude got into it with somebody in the parking lot. That person hit him in the face and busted his face open. So he bled, the one that made the complaint today.
Yeah, because we could see when she showed up, you could see the blood on his foot.
Okay, that was from last night.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, because the one with the black guy today, they didn't even fight. I don't even think that he threw a punch.
They were doing the boxing stuff,
but they never did make contact. That they didn't. I'm telling you, we were all standing right here. The guy told him to leave. Like, we were telling him to leave, the white guy wouldn't listen.
at all.
Right. That's what she was telling me.
Wouldn't listen. So then the black guy was like, hey man, leave.
This employee clarified Tyrone was actually motioning at the guy to leave.
So she was to leave with his hands because he cannot talk.
The workers say people at the store know Tyrone. He lives nearby and comes often.
He always stands at the door and opens the doors for people. Got here, the black guy was here opening doors for everybody.
And that's his usual routine?
Yeah, he does that every day. Yeah.
Now, there's one more clip we want to show you. It's from Officer Ben Harris. Again, he
did sound cracked out.
After Tyrone. At the scene, when describing the force he used on Tyrone, he says this.
Any strikes?
Oh, yeah, head strikes. That's what broke my hand off.
Head strike.
That's different from what he said in court under oath when testifying to get criminal charges against Tyrone.
At one point, when I was trying to regain control of his arm, following his initial punch swings, it appears as though when I went to grab his arm, these fingers became jammed in his forearm and bent over all the way to my palm as demonstrated.
Line sack of shit.
After we broke the story, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office reversed course and dismissed the criminal charges against Tyrone. And in the coming days, his attorneys tell us they plan to file a notice of claim. That's basically the first step in a lawsuit. I'm investigator Dave Biskobing, ABC 15, Arizona.
Dave, thanks. The ABC 15 investigators get results when people in the community need help. If you would like them to look into something for you, email us at investigators@abc15.com or call that number right there on your screen.
Gigantic. I can't say it. Oh my gosh. I was gonna say the acronym, but no, I'm still under the no profanity. Head down to, this is in Dallas. Does this count as my what the F is going on in Fort Worth story? Close enough.
This surveillance video shows one of the men police say was involved in a huge cargo burglary ring across North Texas. And for police, this is critical evidence.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to kind of catch him in the act, so to speak.
In this theft from last May, police say the suspects cut a hole in a warehouse garage door to avoid setting off the alarm. Police say the suspects loaded the stolen items into a box truck, which was also reported stolen.
That launched an investigation for us because approximately $500,000 in product was gone.
Grapevine police shared the warehouse theft case with other police departments, including the stolen box truck used during the heist.
We got a response back from Dallas, Fort Worth, Plano, and Coppell.
And our detectives, worked diligently to obtain suspect information. They just hit a roadblock.
That roadblock was knocked down when Grapevine police used their technology to track the suspects and were waiting for them to strike again.
The main thing was they would hit in the middle of the night at 2, 3 in the morning.
Detectives say the suspect stole Ray-Ban glasses and virtual reality goggles in Grapevine valued at $514,000. Cell phones from Coppell warehouses worth about $2.25 million. And a second case involving another $1.5 million in cell phones.
Police like 6.5.
Tried to steal another $2 million worth of cell phones.
So we had deployed patrol officers with drones, kind of waiting for them to hopefully hit.
And during their last hit, police say their one arrest led them to 7 suspects in all.
May not be able to get you right then and there, but it's coming.
Who all have bonded out of jail but face felony charges for organized criminal activity and up to life in prison. In Grapevine, I'm Scoop Jefferson.
Police are searching for a man wanted in a series of gas station robberies in Colorado, who was apparently wearing a panda suit.
Boulder County deputies want your help trying to identify 3 burglars who are breaking into gas stations stealing tobacco and vapes. And there are surveillance photos. These break-ins happened in Superior, and as you can see, One of the burglars wore a panda costume during one of the break-ins. So Boulder County deputies are calling this group the Panda Bandits. If you know anything about them, you're asked to call Boulder County's tip line. We've put the number there on your screen.
The Panda Bandits. A 17-year-old in California has become the youngest person. Pandits. 17-year-old in California has become the youngest person to pass the bar.
All right, so how is this for sibling rivalry? A 17-year-old named Sophia Park of Tulare County is the youngest to pass the California bar exam.
The Tulare teen beat her own brother's record
welcome in.
last year. And our Hannah Gonzalez has the story of the Central Valley's legal prodigy.
The California General Bar exam is no easy task. In fact, it has a pass rate of only 51%. But it was no problem for Sophia Park, who is the youngest to pass the California Bar exam at 17.
Here's on the pass list for the July 2024 bar exam.
A home video captures the moment Sophia found out she passed the exam. Remarkably, just a year earlier, her family experienced the same excitement. Her older brother, Peter Park, also passed the California
Peter Park.
At that time, breaking the record for the youngest person to do so at 17 years and 11 months. Now, Sophia passed him, passing the exam at just 17 years and 8 months.
People tell us, hey, you know, I think you guys are so much more excited when Peter passed the bar. And then with you, it's like, oh, it was expected that you would pass the bars.
You see, at 13, she simultaneously started law school while attending junior high.
How?
Halfway through her freshman year of high school,
I decided that I wanted to just pursue law school and just focus on that only.
I didn't know that was an option.
A lot of my time.
So she took the California High School Proficiency exam so she could study law full time, later passing the bar with breeze.
I don't think it was like extremely difficult, but I do think there was difficulty in how much you had to put into your brain in a limited period of time.
Like her brother, Sophia became a law clerk at the Tulare County District Attorney's Office at the beginning of 2024.
We're so excited for her, for her brother, and really the family. It's quite remarkable.
Now she waits to turn 18 to be sworn in as a Tulare County Deputy District Attorney.
People do say like, wow, you're so young, but sometimes I forget about my age too. In my perspective, I'm just a law clerk who passed the bar exam and will become an attorney. I'm really looking forward to working as an attorney. I would think this is just like the first step into my career.
Her impressive accomplishments at such a young age are setting the bar high for even greater.
She can be like that one dude who gave up law and then went and became an astronaut and then said like, fuck that, and then went and became a doctor.
Achievements to come. Reporting, Hannah Gonzalez, KC24, local news that matters.
Good for her, though. Feel good story. Here's a story that's not so feel good if you're a fan of Morrissey. The wokes have gotten to him.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Morrissey says war on free speech is stopping him from releasing music. You cannot speak freely in England. You will be sent to prison. The comments seemingly allude to Bonfire of the Teenagers, which he recorded in 2021 and remains unreleased. I don't know how that's possible because it's either the record company not releasing it or, you know, you could self-release it. The soloist and former Smiths frontman made the comments in New Jersey as he took the stage for a solo performance at the Performing Arts Center on last Wednesday. Surprised he actually showed up. During the set, the artist reportedly began addressing the audience and opened up about his struggle to share new music. As you know, nobody will release my music anymore. As you know, because I'm a chief exponent of free speech, in England at least, it's now criminalized. You cannot speak freely in England. If you don't believe me, go there, express an opinion, you'll be sent to prison. It's very, very difficult. While he did not explicitly say what the comments were about, chances are that Morrissey was referring to the currently unreleased album Bonfire of the Teenagers. He recorded the album between 2020 and 2021, although it has remained shelved by Capitol Records. There you go. The controversy around the album stems back to 2022 when the singer-songwriter and former Smiths frontman revealed he had voluntarily withdrawn from any association with Capitol Records, despite announcing that he would be releasing the LP with them just 2 months earlier. So you're having a dispute with your record company. Apparently Miley Cyrus asked to have her vocals that she recorded for the album removed. Both severed partnerships came in relation to the musician's political stance and his support for controversial far-right anti-Islam political party For Britain, which he previously wore as a badge during a 2019 television appearance. Despite provoking controversy with his political views, something which former bandmate Johnny Marr said cast a shadow over the Smiths, the frontman has insisted that he is not far-right. Last summer, the vocalist shared a statement on his website around the status Bonfire, accusing Capitol Records of fascism and having a creeping culture of censorship. I say it all the time. Every dumb fuck far right-winger thinks they're not far right. A woman who decided to streak. I thought it was AT&T Stadium, but I think I've got it wrong here. Woman banned after streaking at BC Place Stadium. The woman who ran onto the field buck naked during the CFL Grey Cup won't be able to perform an encore at BC Place because she's banned from the stadium, TMZ has confirmed.
A titty slap!
Come on now.
Luckily for security, they didn't need to chase her down to resolve the issue as she calmly walked over to them on her own accord. The Vancouver Police Department told us once she was escorted out of the venue and arrested, she was taken to the hospital for treatment related to drug and or alcohol consumption. She was too high for that shit. VDP added that they will not pursue criminal charges at this time, but she will not be allowed back in the venue. Sounds fair. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, a pig is on the loose and being very elusive.
Everyday sight, but it's been an increasingly common one in parts of Bucks County over the last few weeks or so. This pig has been popping up first in backyards, then invariably on social media. Tonight, police in Bensalem asking residents to use their phones to instead call them so they can find the slippery swine and put them somewhere safe. Action News' John Paul has more tonight on this ham on the lamb.
It's the most unusual wanted poster you'll
ham on the lamb.
A pig wanted for evading police in Bensalem.
Come here.
Here he is, wandering the woods near a neighborhood looking for food. People have been spotting this guy for weeks.
He is a cute pig, as far as pigs go.
Vicky Schaup just saw him yesterday. She's the one you hear in this video.
Hey, big boy.
She was out on her usual walk when she thought she saw a dog with spots. But as she got closer, she realized what it was.
I saw the spots on it, and I saw it didn't look like a dog. I'm like, I think that's the pig that everyone's been looking for.
Oscar, as he's called, has been hogging the spotlight. the talk of the town for weeks as dozens of people reported seeing him. Vicky wasn't sure what to do, but says he seemed friendly.
He didn't make any noises. He just wagged his tail at me and smiled at me with this little, whatever that's called, a snout.
Ben Salem police
snout.
calls about this smiling swine, but they haven't been able to catch him. And they do have some concerns that he could be hit by a car or possibly die as it gets colder. So they're asking residents to call if they see him, so the story of this little piggy has a happy ending.
Now I'm worried about the pig. I'm going to tell you that someone's going to do something to him because people are all making kinds of bacon jokes.
Ben Salem.
I mean, he looks tasty.
Big boy.
He's a big boy.
Usual walk when she thought she saw a dog with spots, but as she got closer, she realized what it was.
I saw the spots on it and I saw it didn't look like a dog. I'm like, I think that's the pig that everyone's been looking for.
Oscar, as he's called, has been hogging the spotlight, the talk of the town for weeks as dozens of people reported
If
seeing
you're watching on Twitch or heading over to Midnight Sumo,
but says he seemed friendly.
at Prometheus's request.
He just wagged his tail at me and smiled at me with this little...
Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin.
Swine.
We'll see you tomorrow night on the Troll Patrol.
They do have some
live.
That he could be hit by a car or possibly die as it gets colder. So they're asking residents to call if they see him, so the story of this little piggy has a happy ending.
Now I'm worried about the pig.